There are some things about Miss Kelley that I really admire, and certainly her leadership ability is clear to everyone. Her intuitive sense of people and able to understand folks and really get a good sense of them. But I think what I admire most is her ability to be diplomatic. For example, Miss Kelley has always tried to let Mr. Flynn feel that she likes him best, but there's not a doubt in my mind that the person she likes best is clearly me. Right, Miss Kelley? I am a bit worried about what she's going to do when she retires, however. Part of my concern is that her husband does all the cooking, and I'm not sure what she'll do with all that free time. And my fear is that she'll end up eating Junior Mints and watching reruns of her favorite TV show. What's her favorite TV show? Oh yeah, that's right. Some show about the Navy. NCIS, that's it. Thank you, Miss Kelley. We appreciate your efforts over the last few years and wish you well with your new change of status and whatever adventures lie ahead.
I have kind of a different experience with Miss Kelley. I've known Miss Kelley for a while, and one of my first experiences with Miss Kelley was as a student. Not me as a student, Miss Kelley was my student. And I hate to admit this, but Miss Kelley was a behavior problem in my class. She would sit in the back with, I think it was Gus Anglin from O'Brien and Lorraine Hamilton from South Boston High School, and I would have to speak to them because they were fooling around in my class. And lastly, I have worked with most of the high school principals and headmasters and most of the elementary and middle principals as well, and I have to admit that of all the headmasters and principals I work with, Miss Kelley, you have the best legs of anybody.
I haven't talked to her in the last 2 years, but the thing about Miss Kelley is you don't have to talk to her on a regular basis. You know she's there, you know she really cares about what she's doing, and you just feel that energy that she brings with her every day, that dedication to learning and to discipline, and that's what it's all about. I mean, she is Boston Latin School in the way she carries herself and the way she acts around us.
I saw Miss Kelley at a reunion event for the Ward Fellowship, and she asked me what I was majoring in. When I said physics, she said, "Oh, physics. The world really needs more physics teachers. We need physics teachers." And I'd never thought about physics teaching or teaching at all until that day, and that just kind of planted a seed in my head. And lo and behold, a couple years later, I was looking for a job and came into Latin school. And my teaching tenure here, the last 9 years, has been her 9 years as headmaster. So I share a bond with that, and she really can claim some credit for the reason I'm a teacher in the first place. So I thank Miss Kelley for that, and I think she's done an amazing job as headmaster, and it's been a privilege to work for her.
Hi, Miss Kelley. It's your little mini me right here. Basically, I just absolutely love Miss Kelley. She's one of the classiest ladies that I know, and she's just a true inspiration, and I want to be exactly like her, which I accomplished on Halloween, and she will have this forever and ever. So, yep, I love Miss Kelley, love her always, and she will be missed.
We're all well aware of her impeccable dressing taste, of her magic and grace in which she moves, and her silent leadership. But many of you may not be aware of the fact that Cornelia Kelley, she can dance. Picture this, it's a rather heady evening, the 8th of June, 1993. Picture a young gentleman on the floor in a rather awkward-looking suit, tearing things up on the floor, if you will, cutting up the carpet, as the kids sometimes do say. I was dancing, having fun, enjoying the moment, one of my last evenings here at Boston Latin School, when I noticed Miss Kelley across the dance floor, looking stunning. And in a very brave, courageous moment on my behalf, I decided to make my way over to Miss Kelley, and we proceeded to show these students at Latin School what it means to dance. Yes, dance like you've never danced before. I do have to say that moment, moving back and forth with the music, wasn't anything too suggestive or seductive or controversial. We just were two people having a good time. But this one moment in particular was one that I found very entertaining and one that I wanted to share with you today. So thank you very much, Cornelia. Thanks for all of your opportunities and for your motivation, and I hope everyone enjoys their evening.
Oh, I'm screwing up. Don't use any of this. Okay. And don't you use them as bloopers either. Mrs. Kelley, how shall I encapsulate Mrs. Kelley and what she means to me? It has been said that Mrs. Kelley is the iron fist in the velvet glove. I think that says it all. But on a more personal note, for me, Mrs. Kelley has given me guidance. She's counseled me. She's been patient with me. But most importantly, she has given me a tremendous sense of confidence, capability, and a true understanding of what it takes to be a leader amongst leaders. And most importantly, Mrs. Kelley showed me and told me on a number of occasions how important it was to marry a man who would buy me very nice jewelry. And as you can see, I did heed her warning. So Mrs. Kelley, you will be tremendously missed and always, always loved. Thank you for everything.
She is a tremendously loyal friend, and that's very different in a boss. She's been a great boss and a great friend. I've never had somebody like that, you know, a boss who's been like that. I know kids get nervous going into her office, and when I came for my interview, she was very professional and very stern the way that you see her. She asked me a lot of questions, but when I walked out, I thought I had totally blown it. I thought she hated me. And but once I got to know her, and you see her with kids, you know that that's her manner also.
One of the cool things about Miss Kelley is how she does the laps around the first floor every day after school. And I remember sometimes I'd go to rehearsal for some show with drama, and she'd be walking around, and then I'd leave, she'd still be walking around. And just that type of stamina reflects in the type of work that she gives back to the school, and I really appreciate that. I'm going to miss Miss Kelley, and I really wish she was staying for another year, so that way she'd be my headmaster when I'm a senior year, but if she chooses to retire, I'm sure that's the right decision for her and her students at Boston Latin.
When I first came to Latin school, my last name was Kelley also, and spelt, as she always says, the right